Hi guys, it's Jovana here, and today's episode we're actually continuing on the rebrand path. So we'll be talking about Bumperlead's rebrand experience. So if you're somebody who is looking to take this opportunity during the COVID times and look at their business and how to rebrand, this is a great episode for you. In this episode, we'll actually learn how we transition from old brand to the new brand. And it's all through just sharing our experience and what we've been doing in the behind the scenes. And also, we talk about how to find the right graphic designer to help you design anything that aligns with your new brand identity for social media, for your website, etc. And you can also do some fun activities with your team during this process. So that's something exciting we're sharing with you. And the type of files you should be getting from the branding agency. This is one of the things I forgot in my first few attempts with rebranding. And it's really important to know which files you need from a branding agency so that you could engage a graphic designer. And lastly, how can you use your company rebrand to attract new customers? It is still an episode about rebranding and that whole process of let's call it rebirth. And I thought this was really cool to share with you on the podcast. But there is also a YouTube video because we are showing the differences in logos and the colors and the character that we now have in the brand. So if you're somebody who has some time to sit and watch a YouTube, you can also watch us. I think it's at Bumperleads. I can't remember what the YouTube channel is. But yeah, if you go to bumperleads.com, you can definitely click on the link to find the YouTube video. All right, let's get started. Everyone, this is Milena from Bumperleads. I'm here with Jovana from Bumperleads, and this is part 2 of our rebranding video. So this is our second video together, and we're so excited to do this video with you and share some expertise, not so much expertise, but some experience, I should say, about us going through a rebrand. How did Bumperleads go through a rebrand? So let me just look at the notes for today's video. 1 second. So today we're going to cover how we transition from our old brand to the new brand and the steps we've taken to undergo the brand revamp. And we're going to talk about our website and how we are looking for a graphic designer to help with social media posts and changing all these graphics. And something else that's relevant to you, maybe if you're listening, what else we could ask our branding agency to give us, because this, you're going through this whole process of rebranding, but at the end of the day, what are some tangible things you can get from the branding agency? And then Jovana is going to talk about some opportunities that you might have just because you're going through the rebrand, because every brand change is an opportunity to acquire new customers, and you can send them emails and keep them in the loop. And as Jovana said, we have already involved our best customers in giving us feedback for this rebranding exercise that we're going through at the moment. Is that all, Jovana? Is that all we're going to cover today? I think definitely what you said. We'll be talking about the how of rebranding. How do we transition? In our first part, we talked about the why we decided to rebrand. And today is like, how do we actually change? And I know there is, when I was talking to a few clients, they all have a bit of fear, to go from their existing look and feel to a new look and feel, and this fear of how are their clients going to perceive them? So this is, something very valuable that we can share.
Great. I'm glad you pointed out the journey that we are going through with our brand, because we mentioned something in the last video that Bumperleads has been around for 5 years now, and
yes,
in those 5 years we've gone from a very basic, or we didn't know anything about branding, from basic logo, I guess, and the brand overall, to something that's more sophisticated, I think, now. And it's almost like the simple is now the sophisticated brand, So what I wanted to do, if we can, I'll try to share my screen. Just bear with me for a second.
Because this is going to be, this is on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You guys can check it out.
or you can listen if you're listening to it on the podcast. You can just hop on the YouTube channel, which is Bumper Leads YouTube channel.
Thanks for that. I forget that this is going on the podcast as well. Okay, I share my
supposed
screen.
To release it.
Yes. So maybe it's a good idea to talk about the actual document. I had to close all the other windows, Facebook stuff. No, just joking. All right. So this is, so for people who are watching the video, you can now see, what am I looking at? 3 different logos. So I'm going to talk about these 3 different squares. For those of you listening, I can just explain that the first logo was a bit, it was too wordy, text heavy. There was
maybe retro look.
Maybe retro
vintage.
Vintage. And was it really what Bumper Leads was about? It was a brand new...
I have no idea what it was about.
When we started, it was just a logo, I guess. And we were really into cool vintage logos. So we thought, okay, why not? Let's make this one. Bumper Leads looks cool in vintage. And then after a couple of years, that changed completely. So I wouldn't know what the second image style of that is, but it is also simple, but it's a lot of color, like a lot of drastic, prominent colors, like baby blue, I can see, and a bit of orange, and then a dark blue color. And it was very look at me type of brand.
It was like cool, I would say cool, but maybe like 70s, 80s type of look. And the font is the Century Gothic font. So that was, different for me to me, that looks like a more professional font compared to the first year where we had more like an electronic square looking boxy font. So
do you remember what your process was for that second logo? You engaged a graphic designer at the time. Was that the same person who was also like a branding strategist or a branding person? Was he also into branding?
I think, they were very good at brand identity, but we didn't go through that whole strategy piece, which is what we've done for our new rebrand. And I think that was missing because most of the direction came from me. And so my research, my thinking, and it wasn't reflecting on the perception of what the clients would be perceiving that brand as. So this person did a great job in terms of putting that together based on my strategy, my thinking. That was fine. But obviously, as your business changes, you evolve, things change, and you need to be evolving with that. So we now know that we need to go through the whole process, which is to hire a consultant, an external party to look at all facets of your company, your brand, your customers, and then come up with these great ideas for your brand.
Yes, and I was just going to say for that second logo, the Bumper Leads, you've actually done it. As you've said, you've gone through that process yourself, but you didn't involve the whole team. And I think that now, as you said, as we've grown, the team, obviously, you've hired more people, and we were all able to contribute and talk about what Bumper Leads is and how we perceive Bumper Leads. And
that was fun.
Yeah, that was a fun exercise.
That was a fun journey because what we came up with is like these 6 human characteristics of the brand that I never really considered. And that was all thanks to the brainstorming that we all did. And I'm just going to share these 6 personality, human characteristics of the new Bumper Leads. And so this is how we want to be perceived. We want to be known as nimble because we know that every business is unique, and therefore the way they communicate with their potential customers needs to be tailored. So we don't do one size fits all. And our marketing growth systems are designed for every individual business owner. And that is so true in what we do. So we are not really using one. Now we have one word that describes that, and it's nimble. So I'm really happy about that. And then geeky, like we are geeky. We are too techy. We sometimes think that we are, it's too easy. This is easy. We can do this. But our clients particularly don't think like techy mindset. And so as geeky, we are very proud to call ourselves geeks. and we make things happen with speed and precision because we do this day in, day out. Entrepreneurial, that's a big one that came up because all of us have some entrepreneurship background. We have our businesses, and we've built many successful businesses over the years, and we're not really communicating that with the old branding. And so we merge our business acumen with our marketing know-how to create these great solutions for our clients. And so that is now being captured in that Bumper Leads logo. And we have nurturing as a fourth characteristics that we want to be known for because we care about the clients. We understand that running a business can be stressful, and we are here for our clients, here to take the stress out of marketing and here to make the job easier. The other cool one that we also, the words that we used was playful. And that came across in the branding, the circles, the fonts, and the character that we now have, who is not afraid to speak her mind and tell it like it is. And so we like to, have fun. We take great delight in doing what we do. We think connecting with customers should be fun. We are also, the sixth characteristic is reliable. We want to work alongside our clients to create the marketing growth strategy that they deserve. And we always implement without fuss. We just want to make things so easy. And we don't want to be perceived as somebody who is untrustworthy and undependable. And those are I think, 6 criteria that I think was really something that was captured. And what we've done, Milena, is we went through, I think we asked 2 or 3 different clients that we really love working with. And we said, what do you think? Is this how you guys would perceive us? And that they all said, yep, spot on. This is how we know you as Bumper Leads.
Yep, that's right. And this logo, so the latest logo has all those personalities and all those attributes. I'm just showing this. What I'm showing you on the screen, if you're watching, is just the little profile image that we're going to use for Instagram and Facebook and other social media channels. But the full logo will display, obviously, on our website. Mm-hmm. So maybe I should bring that up.
Yeah, if you have it.
Yeah, because that's the next point I wanted to bring up as well, is transitioning from your old brand to the new brand. And we have an existing website, and only a couple of days ago it had that old brand here, which is the one with the blue circle, baby blue circle, this one here. Only a couple of days ago we had that, and everything was blue and pink and all the other colors we had. And now if you go on to bumperleads.com, you can see our new logo. So now you can see what we were just talking about, how it portrays all these personalities or all these characteristics that Jovana has mentioned. So if you have time, you can go to bumperleads.com and have a look at our logo. Just have a look at our logo because the website is going to change. That's the next point what we're going to talk about. So, all right. So now we have that amazing session with the brand strategies. We have that, I think it was like 4 hours discussing the how we perceive our brand or all these personalities. So we had that brainstorming session. But what happens after that? Like what happens? All right. So we've got that session. Now they're doing our brand identity, providing us with assets like logo, social media design, website design, how it will all look and how it will actually be in line with our new values and new characteristics. What should a business owner do next? Because that's kind of the step we are in at the moment. We need to get all the images. We need to
Where do you start?
Yeah, where do you start? And who does it for you? Do you want to maybe touch on that?
Yes. I mean, we have, it's a good question. I think what happened after the strategy was to construct an actual like a guide or brand guidelines, and it's the brand identity pack, which had all the what is okay to use in the brand, what colors, what fonts, what is not okay to use in the brand. And so that becomes a guide for any graphic designer can pick it up and should know how to design according to your guideline. So, for example, with us, we had circles because we liked organic shapes. So there's a few circles. There's also this other perception that we wanted to be perceived as expert and strategic. And so in that guide, they showed it as squares. You know, there's some blocks and different colors that determine that we are experts in what we do. Then we have to do photography. So photography is the key, because it does showcase that personality that we want. So now that we are in Melbourne, in Victoria, at the time of rebranding, we are actually unable to engage with the photographer yet. So we are going to be waiting probably for maybe 3 months before we can do our professional photography. In the meantime, we have to make some decisions. And so we have some placeholder images and things we can use. We're also even thinking to use our clients' professional photographies, because they already have them on the website. Yeah, from there, who do we engage? I think graphic designer. We had for social media, for example, we were thinking that maybe our team can do something creative as a fun task. So, making those Instagram tiles and Facebook banners and all that stuff, that can be done in Canva, very simple, and following the guidelines, the fonts, the images, and everything. But essentially what we decided to do is pretty much change our social media first, and then second, change the website, just to make sure that there is consistency between social media and the website. But even though the website isn't perfect, it's not what the brand guidelines say, we still want to be actually showing people that if you land on our Instagram or Facebook, you are actually landing on the website that looks very similar to that.
Yeah, it needs to show at least the same colors and the same logo, so that people think, yeah, I'm at the right place. If I see you on Instagram,
yes,
I'm hoping on the website I'm at the right place. And another thing I wanted to mention is the files that we would normally get, like transparent images, something like logo with a transparent image, because you'll be using it on different areas, different backgrounds, and just making sure that you follow the branding guidelines in whatever you do with social media.
As a minimum, is that we should have the transparent PNG and JPEG, and then the editable files like Adobe Illustrator or InDesign or whatever designers use. Sometimes these files are what designers tend to prefer if you want them to design. If you're outsourcing this to a graphic designer, they prefer some of these editable files. They're not going to change your look and feel. They're just going to make sure that the resolution and all the measurements and everything fits with the design accordingly.
And you mentioned something about getting the team involved in doing social media. That's right. It's so interesting you said that, because we were looking for all these graphic designers. We just want to create a template that we can use on Canva. We just want to put text on it. And then our team members a couple of team members have decided, you know what, we can do this for you. Like they were really excited to do that creative part. So if you have, in your business some downtime, you can get your team to maybe participate and help you out with the social media, because it does take time to do social media.
It's so time consuming, but we also have a few people interested in updating the internal documents too.
That's right. That's part of branding. That's right. We didn't even mention that.
We didn't talk about, because our new brand we should be talking about is the fonts. That was a revelation in itself.
That's a challenge.
Fonts, you have to buy. So number one, you have to buy the fonts, and then it's the license that you have to have for the font. So you have to buy a web font that you're allowed to use. And when you buy web fonts, you only have certain number of impressions per month. So it could be 10,000, 100,000 or 1 million. So the licensing is very much controlled. We are, in our business, we use Google, G Suite, and we find that we actually can't import our custom fonts. So we can't use them in our internal documents. And so when we consulted our branding gurus, they said, that is very common. We should really just stick with either Arial for any internal documents, which is very common on every platform, or Helvetica font, which is also very widely used. So if we just choose one of those and that's consistent, then our branding will be okay, will be protected. But for external marketing, so your social media, your website, we should really keep that custom font as much as possible.
Yeah, anything that can stay on graphics or images, it should really have the custom font. Thanks for reminding us about the challenges of going through rebrand, because it's not always a smooth process. What I wanted to mention also is you kind of said characteristics of brand, and you've read out our brand personality. How do we display playfulness? So that was one of our values or one of our characteristics for the brand. So playfulness is one of the characteristics for, we imagine the brand being a person. We imagine it's like having a friend, so what would they be like? And if they are playful, because that's one of our things that we raised with the branding strategies, if they are playful, how do we portray that? Can you tell us about that?
Through images, but we also, what we decided to do is have a character, have a little mascot for the brand, and her name is Samantha. And she's going to be a little cat that pops up now and then, and she is the one who basically tells you the truth. She'll tell the truth. She'll say things that we probably would never say to our clients in the manner that she does. She's very straightforward. She's very upfront. We had so much fun around making that copy, when we're writing for social media or updating anything. It actually makes it easy to come from a third perspective, coming and writing from a cat perspective. And it's also something that we have not seen in other agencies. And, we have seen it in other software companies. People do tend to use mascots, but, not in the agency environment. They haven't seen it. So this is definitely like a point of difference, and it really captures our personality there. It's fun. It's
fun to have Samantha on board, and we really do have Samantha as she's an office cat. She does exist, but for the brand purposes, we have her in a kind of cartoon-looking image character. Keep an eye out on on Samantha's. She's going to make an appearance in social media, everywhere on social media. She's going to make an appearance on the website as well when that's done. Again, we are so excited. I think that's one part of why we are so excited about going through rebrand, because we have this little character that we can play with and we can use to communicate with our customers in a very different way, in a fun way, obviously. There was something else about having opportunities with customers that you wanted to cover, what it means to have a new brand, and if you wanted to attract new customers, or maybe re-engage the old customers.
Yeah, I mean, every opportunity, like every rebranding exercise, we can take it as an opportunity to acquire more customers or have a reason to communicate with existing customers. So our next step, which we'll talk about probably in part 3, is rolling it out. How do we communicate that? But the interesting thing is, after going through the rebrand, I have spoken to a prospect yesterday, and they used exact words that we were using in our branding strategy. Wow. And it really was something that reflected back, and it would make perfect sense for us to have shown that right from the start. And the client uses these words, and we should have just used our simple words everywhere. So I'm excited to share that with everybody and communicate that as much as whatever channel we will be more. We'll be looking at sharing most of this knowledge around marketing automation, and branding is something that is just fun because we don't know how to do this ourselves. True. So this is a new experience. But it's interesting that it is, it came together so quickly. You talk to clients, you talk to customers, and they reaffirm your new direction.
Good point there. And as part of 3, I thought maybe we could invite Tiny Hunter, who is that's the agency that we hired to help us with rebrand. We could potentially use them, have them, as an interview for part 3, or we can talk about the rest of the rebranding process when it's all final and done. So keep your ears and eyes open anyway, guys. And I think that we should make it a wrap for this part 2.
I think we've definitely shared quite a few gold nuggets for our listeners and watchers or viewers.
Everyone. That's great. Well, thanks so much, Jovana, for taking the time to join us today. And I shall speak to you later on the phone.
All right. Take it easy. See ya.
All right. Thanks. Bye.